Hi, this is Rachel from Ray K Books, and today I'm going to be interviewing the amazing Delilah Dawson. Hello, Delilah.
Hi.
Hi. We are going to be talking about your newest novel, Servants of the Storm. Can you please tell everybody a synopsis of that book?
Sure. Servants of the Storm is a Southern Gothic horror about a girl in the city of Savannah that has been leveled by a hurricane, and she has lost her best friend to Hurricane Josephine and has kind of had a psychotic break and had to be medicated for it. And then she sees her dead best friend and dumps her meds and finds a whole other demonic world underneath that. So it's Southern Gothic, cemeteries, abandoned amusement parks, demons, all sorts of fun stuff.
Yes, demons. They're so fun. Uh, I'm just kidding. Um, right when you popped up on my screen, the first thing I thought was she is in front of a lot of books. So I'm guessing this is your little library. So can you tell me or tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Right behind me are all of my, well, that one's not signed, but I've got two shelves of all signed books. Everything from, I've got a Peter S. Beagle and a Diana Gabaldon to a signed Misty of Chincoteague and the Night Circus. Lots of good favorites on there, an Anne Aguirre, a Liv Bray, lots of Sherry Priest. I live for signed books. Like if my house catches on fire, I will throw my children out the window and then be down here to get the books. And then I've got like all the old favorites, like, the Jane Austen. I dropped this on my baby's head when I was nursing him, and that's when I got my first Nook, because I was like, oh, I almost killed my baby. Yeah, the Nook at that point. Yeah, so yeah, these are. We moved recently, and we had to find homes for like 75% of our books. So these are all of the ones you hold on to forever, like say Stephen King's On Writing, one of the best books I've ever read, and Tom Robbins and Cassie Clare and comics. So I read a lot of YA and a lot of urban fantasy.
So we're gonna start talking about your novel. But I do want to say that it's a really awesome library you have. I really enjoy it. And congratulations on all the signed books. Wow. Uh, I want all my books signed. That'd be awesome.
That's the goal.
So, is there a message? Yeah, is there a message in your novel that you want readers to grasp?
I think at the heart of it, it is a paean to friendship. Um, there are love interests, but Debbie's main interest is her best friend Carly and her loyalty and devotion to her best friend and to her city and her defiance against every step of the way. Someone is saying, no, calm down, take your pills, just be chill, and she says, no, I'm going to fight. And it takes place in Savannah, which is a very racially charged city with a very bloody history. And Debbie is mixed race, and so she's still having to fight against the stereotypes in her city and against, I guess when I was a teen, I tried to be really good and responsible and got in some bad situations because I was afraid to say no. I wanted to be polite and nice, and Debbie is the version of me that tells everybody hell no. So it's all about standing up for what's right and taking care of your friends.
Very nice. So, friendship's very, very important for you, and that's like the main focus in this.
Um, that's the reason that she follows the metaphorical rabbit down the hole is because um, she has been so caught up in losing her best friend that the thought that her best friend might still be out there and might still need her is what draws her forward into this dark world. It's kind of like in City of Bones um, when you see Clary running into the dumbest places for Simon, and Debbie does that. She will run into the worst place on earth to help Carly or to save Baker and whatever she has to do to save her friends.
So, what draws you to this genre?
I don't like responsibility very much. I don't like taxes and mortgages. My car had a bunch of lights come on yesterday, and I had to go have my car taken care of today, and it was like the most stressful thing I've done in months. So I really like books in which there is immediacy and passion and rebellion and things to fight against that are magical and interesting and not quite so mundane and involving quite so much paperwork.
What is a genre that you will never write in, and what's a genre you want to write in next?
I would never say never, but the thought of writing an Amish romance with no magic and no smooching, I don't think I could do that. There's no way. It'd be so boring. And as far as when I'd like to write in, I guess my agent wishes that I would stick to a little more solid branding, but like I have two. I guess my first series is steampunk paranormal romance adventure, and then Servants of the Storm is YA. Next April, Hit is like a pre-dystopian. It's like, you look at the Hunger Games and you're like, at what point did America suddenly be like, hey, let's divide up into like 13 regions and not talk to each other, and everybody in the capital is going to look like crazy. Like, what was the first step away from where we are? And so that's what this book is about, as if the banks bought America and turned teens into bounty hunters. And then I have two books with my agent right now that I'm hoping we'll move forward with soon. One is a geeky contemporary YA that's kind of like a reverse She's All That, where a football player becomes a geek. And the other one is a YA Weird West that's kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer crossed with True Grit, about a half-slave, half-native girl that starts killing vampires and like forms a Scooby gang to go with the Texas Rangers, who aren't bad guys in that world but are really like out killing nests of chupacabras that are stealing babies. So I get out there.
So you're a romance writer, and that's awesome. So did you write this YA book to have a lot of romance in it?
No, this one does not. It's almost like I guess I've seen some reviewers call it a love triangle, but it's almost a love triangle in which she's like, no, I don't have time for this. Like, you kissed me, that felt interesting, but I've got this thing to do over here. So they haven't bought book 2 yet, and I'm kind of interested to see where that'll go. But as the book finishes out, she's not with anybody, and she doesn't have the strong. There's no swoop, like you read Stephanie Perkins or you read Jace, and you feel the swoop in your stomach, or you're like, ooh! And this book doesn't have that. She kisses 2 boys, and she doesn't really want to date either of them.
No, that's fine. And so I did research you a little bit, and I did see that you wrote a lot of romance. So what is the difference between romance novels and young adult novels for you?
Well, my romance novels were originally written as like fantasy adventures, and my beta readers, my agent, were like, you kind of closed the doors on a couple of awesome places. And I was like, I know, that's because I'm a prudish Southern girl. And they said, well, you need to open the door. And so after I wrote the sex scenes, they got shelved as paranormal romance. But they're not all the romance. There's a lot of adventure and magic and world building. So, I guess for me the difference is just that in the romance you couldn't pull the romance out. Each of my books in the Blood series is a pairing of a new romantic couple, and they have their adventures, and there's a fully functional plot and their people. It's not like, oh, I don't understand you. It's like, it's not like that. But there is sex, and it contributes. Like, it's consensual. It's healthy. Like, people have asked me, if your teen readers found your romance books, how would you feel? And I'd be like, awesome, because these guys don't go forward without consent. And they're like, hey, are you safe? Are we good? Like, it's a much more, I think, thoughtful and kind introduction to it than some of the romance I've read. But when YA, at least in mine, the focus is more on a higher stakes, as far as like, oh my gosh, I have to save my best friend. Oh my God, demons are taking over. Oh my God, I have this hit list, or they're going to kill my mom. The function is not, I just really like this guy. We're going to go on an adventure, and then we're going to do it in a submarine.
I can see the
difference. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, yes. So,
okay,
so we have a comment that I just saw. from Mr. Rowo Surrey, and they say, "I love your books, Delilah. Criminy, Lee Swoon."
This is Criminy, y'all. He is my first guy. He's basically I was watching a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and not getting a lot of sleep, and I had this dream where this dude kind of looked like an extra naughty Mr. Darcy, and then when he talked, it sounded like Spike. So if you like Spike from Buffy, it's Criminy is a lot like that for you.
Ah, okay. So you're really into, you just said it, like steampunk, I guess, that kind of stuff. So where did that love come from? What makes you drawn to that?
I'm definitely not a steampunk as far as like the lifestyle and the aesthetic. The books, it kind of arose because I wanted to create. Um, when I came up with the idea, I wanted these people that were blood drinkers but weren't the traditional vampire where it was undead and garlic and sleeps all night. I just wanted people that drank blood, and so instead of making them Cullen-esque and have them be the rich, the beautiful, the powerful, I made a world where all of the prey animals, all the bunnies and squirrels and horses drink blood too. And so the humans are kind of terrified and have built all of these wards around their world. And steampunk became a natural way to be like, okay, well, if the horses want to kill you, then you need a horseless carriage, and you need steam trains, and you need dirigibles, and you need submarines, because you can't just hop on a horse because the horse will turn around and rip you off and like crack your ribs open and eat you. And so will the rabbits and squirrels and mice. So steampunk wasn't so much an artificial, like, I'm going to get goggles and gears. It's like, if you can't have a pet cat, like you could have a copper monkey, or you could have a bracelet that was shaped like a snake that could do functions for you. So it was a functional thing that allowed me to buy lots of corsets. So I do a little bit of cosplay, like at Dragon Con and the big Comic Cons. I have a nice costume closet that I enjoy.
Who do you cosplay as?
For Dragon Con this year, I had one day where, do you know Alethea Contis, who writes the Hero series?
Nope.
Mary Mancusi, Diana Peter Freund, E.C. Myers, any of them?
I know them.
Okay. Yeah, Alethea Contis writes a lovely fairy tale series that starts with Hero. But at Dragon Con, she does this thing called Princess Alethea's Traveling Sideshow, where she invites all of her YA author friends, and we do a big performance and bunches of giveaways and stuff. And so I'd made a Marvel princess costume where I had a big foofy ball gown and a corset with the Avengers on it. So I could fit in with all the superheroes and princesses. And then the second day I did a steampunk raven stag for Hannibal. So I had like black Hannibal antlers and this big black gothy ball gown and silver spangles and petticoats and stuff. And the third day I did a steampunk gender swapped Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. So I had like my brown coat and my brown corset and stuff. So I don't know, just mix it up and play with it,
Yeah,
corset.
you're really in there. You're really into it. That's awesome. Do you go to any like Comic Cons?
Yes, DragonCon is one. And then my other big one, I love Phoenix Comic Con. That is one of my favorite ones to go to, which I don't cosplay at because it's like 98,000 degrees there. But I haven't hit New York or San Diego yet, but I would really like to.
Well, good luck. I hear that they're all really awesome, so I've always wanted to try to go to one, but I haven't. So it's on my bucket list.
It can be very intimidating.
Intimidating?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, 100,000 people, and like Dragon Con, the four host hotels, a couple of them are a couple of blocks away, and like as a panelist, you'll have 30 minutes to get, 2 blocks down, and you can't do it because there's so many crowds, and it's like the Zombie-topia, like you can't move. And they're all geeked. It can still get a little bit claustrophobic.
It kind of reminds me of BEA. It's the same thing. Really claustrophobic. So many lines, lots of people, but they're all book nerds. So, what are you reading right now?
Let's see. Right now, I am reading Breathe, Annie, Breathe by Miranda Keneally. I just started 10 by Gretchen McNeil and Mind Games by Kirsten White. So,
wow, you're reading 3.
Well, I've got like a car book and a bedside book and a bath book. So I have like one sitting everywhere so I can move around. But I just finished, I guess this summer we had We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, and then City of Heavenly Fire, and then Isla and the Happily Ever After. And like those were like 3 books I've been waiting for so long that I had that kind of reading thing where you're like, nothing will ever compare to these books. But for like a week there, I was just kind of shell shocked.
I know, and once you're done reading those books, you're like, what next? What do I have to look forward to?
No, it's because then you look at Stephanie Perkins and she's like, my next one is a thriller, and you're like, but they're in love, right? Because I need the love.
Did you know when I was at the signing for Cassie Clare, she came up with more book news. Oh crap! It was this. She's writing a whole new series, I think, about Simon, and it's Simon, and it's about him getting into the Shadowhunters. What?
Huh.
Yeah, him becoming a shadow hunter,
So
and
now
what training is like.
But he's still a vampire, right?
Yeah.
Daylighter, but he doesn't have the mark of Cain, but he's just like straight up vampire?
He's a vampire, and they're like, hey, do you want to be a shadow hunter? And he's like, sure. So now he's in this training school, and so that's what Cassie's going to write.
But her next one is about...
That's something to look forward to.
Her next one is about the younger kids, though, right? The next generation that was like 10 in a City of Heavenly Fire?
I don't remember, but I just know she's writing 2 new series that are kind of a knockoff of her actual series.
Okay.
I think another one has to do with the Clockwork Angel.
Oh my god.
I haven't read it. I haven't read that yet, but yeah, we're gonna see Tessa again.
Dude, yeah. Clockwork Princess decimated me. Like, I had to call my husband and be like, I can't get out of bed. I'm just going to be crying all day. Bring fried chicken. Like, oh, God.
I know. It's really funny because I was like, I haven't read the prequel series yet. And then I asked my roomie, hey, what happens at the end? And I heard what happened. Because I'm like, who does she end up with? You have to tell me, please. And I heard, and I'm like, oh, no.
Well, you know, my husband
you'll see more
walked upstairs and he was like, are you reading The Fault in Our Stars again? And I was like, no, it's something else.
I know. Once I read it, it's going to be so heartbreaking. I'm going to be there with you.
So worth it.
But we get more of her.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I've liked everything she's read. Or everything she's written.
Yeah. So I have 2. And I don't know if do you know if they're still going to make the second movie? They're not.
No, I did some internet research, and yeah, no, they cancel it, which very sad. But I mean, it's a lot like Outlander. Like, I just want to watch it. Like, I know what happens, but I just want to watch it all. But yes,
Do you know what's funny though is that when I was at the signing, I was wearing a never judge a book by its movie T-shirt. I'm like, should I wear this? Should I not? I'll wear it. And so I went to Cassie, and I'm like, I'm really sorry I'm wearing this. You know, like, do you like? No. She said, I like your shirt, and I'm like, I was really nervous to wear it around you. She's like, Rachel, I really like what's on your shirt. Like, I get it, and I'm like, ooh, I felt really bad for her, but she was beyond nice. Anyway. Enough about me. This is your interview. So let's play.
I mean, I own the movie, and like that's one of my like. If I'm sick, I curl up and I'm like, I'm gonna watch Jace fight with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, like a fever dream.
So cute. So now we're gonna play a game called Would You Rather. And if you don't know what you rather is, I would say to you, Delilah, would you rather eat apples or oranges for the rest of your life? Apples. And then you'd have to say apples or oranges.
Apples all the way.
Except, yeah, apples. Apples are good. And this is literature edition.
Ooh.
So it's all about books. So the first one is, would you rather live in the world of Hunger Games or Divergent?
Well, I think the Divergent was okay until everything broke. So definitely Divergent.
Would you rather?
Capital.
Well, it kind of, as a whole, it's just very flawed. I get that.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight next to Hermione from Harry Potter Katniss from the Hunger Games, or Triss from Divergent?
What are we fighting?
I have no idea. Make it up. A monster. Let's just say a monster.
That's different from like the government. I probably Hermione, just because magic. Like I've got a bow and arrow, I can do that, but the magic I need.
Would you rather read a book that is written poorly but has an excellent story, or read one with weak content but is written well?
It'd probably have to be weak content and written well. Yeah, I can't. Life's too short to read books that are painful to read. But I watched Twilight the other day, and I was like, dude, the first time I read this book, I was so in love with it. And now I look at it, and I'm like, what is this hot mess? But God, the first time, it's just so mesmerizing. And later, you're like,
oh my God, same here. 2008. Were you 2008?
Yeah, it was fall of 2008. I read that whole series twice in 2 weeks.
Oh my God, same. It was just so amazing. And then you go back to it and your tastes change.
And you're like, my daughter can never read this and get this message. Date a boy who wants to murder you, and what did she say?
Yeah, I know. I didn't really realize that I was reading until everybody was like, he watches you when you sleep. And I'm like, yeah, that is creepy now that I think about it. Like,
first time you're like, I don't know. I always liked Jasper. Like I would have chosen Jasper over Edward probably anyway. And Emmett
did you
too.
know? Yeah, Emmett's great. But did you know there's this? Okay, so out of 5 movies, there's this YouTube video. They took, how there's so much staring scenes. So out of 5 movies, they took all the staring scenes and put them together in one video, and it was 26 minutes of just staring.
I tried to watch it the other day, and the moment in the cafeteria, and you're just like 5 people wearing all white just dancing in the cafeteria, looking 28, and the whole school's like, whatever.
So much staring could be sexy. No, it's not sexy. All that, no. Okay, anyway, continuing on. Would you rather, or no, who would you rather have as a child, Harry Potter or Hermione Granger?
Hermione Granger, because then you get obliviated, but you don't die.
Would you rather write novels where all the characters are women or all men for the rest of your writing career?
Oh, that's painful. Probably women. Just because, if frogs and toads can suddenly have babies on their own, then women can probably do that on their own faster than men can.
Would you rather, wait, I lost my place. Okay. Would you rather only write your books in trilogies or standalones for the rest of your writing career?
Trilogies. I really like.
Would you rather write a book without using conjunctions or have every sentence of your book begin with one?
Without. It'd have to be medieval.
It'd have to be. And it can be done. It can be. You can make it work.
Think that, Robin.
The next one is, would you rather write a plot twist you hated or write a character you hated?
Oh, a character you hate, because it's really fun sometimes to write characters you hate, because you get to kill them in horrible ways.
That's very true. Brutal, horrible ways. I get that. So the next one is, would you rather a super successful movie be made from one of your books or a long-lasting television series?
That's a hard one. Probably a movie. Just because I would really love that feeling of getting to go to a premiere and the red carpet and watch it all in one chunk.
Who would you, no, I already asked that question. Would you rather critics rip your book apart publicly or never talk about it at all?
Rip it apart publicly.
And that concludes our Would You Rather game. Congratulations, you win. Good job, good job. Okay, so let's get to what's coming up next. I'm very intrigued about the book you said about the football player turning into a geek. That sounds really exciting. Is that going to be a young adult or a romance?
It's a young adult contemporary. Um, I guess I'd say it's kind of like if Miranda Keneally and Stephanie Perkins combined. I hope what I'm going for. So it's got a little bit of like the small town that's obsessed with sports, but then it's got the couple that's kind of oddball that ends up.
Hmm. And what's the second one that you told me about that's going on?
Yes, my agent and I are working on it together. It's called Wake of Vultures is the working title, but it is about in the 1840s Texas, about a girl who is kind of raised as a slave, and she's half black, half native. And one night she is attacked by a man and accidentally kills him and finds out he's a vampire. And after she sees one, she starts seeing these monsters everywhere and learns that the Texas Rangers, who, you know, if you read history, it's kind of assumed that they did some really bad things, but that they were actually like killing nests of chupacabras or shapeshifters or werewolves. And so she has to go find them, and it kind of turns into a monster hunting thing where she has to go after this Comanche monster called the Cannibal Owl to learn about her past. But she collects, like she is very confused about her sexuality. She dresses as a man and pretends to be a man and enjoys pretending to be a man. Like, she doesn't want to be a girl, and she falls in love with a gay guy and like doesn't understand why they can't be together. And they end up being friends, but it's a lot of stuff mashed together. But it's one of the most fun worlds I've ever written. Like the vultures that we see are like really harpies with like these, like they've got the vulture beak, and then they've got human eyes and like these huge dangling breasts, and they want to like kill you. So I'm hoping that one will go out soon on submission and sell.
Awesome. No, the demons do not sound fun at all.
Well,
No.
the demons and servants are fun though, because they all have animal aspects. So like, there's a girl who owns a club that has like fox ears, and then there's like a guy with a rooster's waddle, and then there's like people with you know, antlers or like bat wings. So they're not nice, but they're kind of fun and they're easy to cosplay. My daughter has.
I was about to say that. I was like, you can cosplay that.
Oh, the book launch party at Foxtail Bookshop, and like half the people were wearing, you know, like little cat ears from Target, and a couple people had bought antlers, and like it was super adorable.
That's very nice. So I had a question. Oh yes. So you write a lot of paranormal. Paranormal is my favorite of all time. I love paranormal. So you're like my favorite person ever. So my question is, what is your favorite paranormal creature?
Ooh. I mean, like, if you're talking about in books and stuff,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like the Loch Ness monster, but then, it's so hard to say. Like, I mean, I like vampires, but I don't like them to be undead and gross and weird. Like, I like them to be more interesting. Like, in my second book, it starts off with this girl. You know, the story of Princess Anastasia in our world is like she was this girl that, you know, was killed just because she might be a threat to politics one day. So I started the book where she's like this feral, bloodthirsty vampire princess who bursts out of a suitcase and wants to murder everybody. But it ends up where like in the part in the Russia that's ruled by the vampires in my world, like unicorns drink blood and so do peacocks, and they work together where the peacock's like, hey, I'm being a peacock, and then the unicorn runs up and stabs you through the chest. So that was like my funnest one to write. You're like, well, why not? Like, why wouldn't unicorn stab you through the heart? And then the peacock would be like drinking your blood with his little beak. I like to mess with the tropes more than play by the tropes.
You have a quite the imagination. Like when you're talking, I'm like, what? But I can see it in a book, but I'm just like, where is this coming from? So it's very nice. It's interesting to hear about. So with the book that's coming out, which actress would you like to see play the lead character?
Is that with Servants or with the one that's out next April?
No, Servants.
Servants? I was thinking about Jaden Smith maybe. It's hard. Debbie has her mom is black and her dad is white with like kind of pale blonde hair. So she's described as being very kind of like tan skin, tan hair with freckles. And I don't know of a lot of mainstream actresses in that age range that could play her. So I would really hope that it would be an up and comer that could really grab everybody's hearts and just ring them.
There was a comment that says, "I really hope the Harpy one gets published."
Well, I got this tattoo recently that's a vulture feather. That's because like that book meant so much to me that I was like, I need this. So
That's
I hope.
awesome. Cool. I like that tattoo. Do you have any other tattoos?
Yeah, I've got a key over here that's from Barry Moser's Alice in Wonderland. I've got a bunch of flowers on my back, peacock feather on my neck. That, while I was getting it, I got it to celebrate my first book sale, and it was on the day Divergent came out. So the whole time he was tattooing on my back, I was like in the Nook with Divergent the day it came out. And they took pictures of me getting my tattoo, and it's just my face with a Nook over it.
And so we went way over half an hour, so that went fast. I have a few more questions for you before we go. One is, what is some advice you have for aspiring writers?
I tend to give a lot of writing advice on Twitter and on my blog and on other people's blogs because I strongly feel as a writer that paying it forward helped me get where I am by people being kind to me, and if I can help people, I want to. So if you go to my blog, which is whimsydark.com, on the blog part, I'll tweet about a subject all day. Like I'll ask Twitter at 8 in the morning, like, hey, do you want to know anything about writing? And somebody will say, oh yeah, what about editing a first draft, or what about your second round of queries? And I'll tweet about it all day long, kind of whenever I'm in between paragraphs on whatever I'm writing. And then at the end of the day, I'll storify it, and then I'll put all those tweets up on my blog according to like I'll say like here's what you need to know about first drafts, and then it's like 40 tweets about it, and then answering questions that people ask. So almost anything you want to know, you can either find it already on my blog or ask me to tweet about it, and I will. And then there's another page on my blog called Resources that is, I didn't write a book till I was 32, and I had a 9-month-old baby constantly stuck to me, and I was getting 3 hours of sleep, and I knew nobody in New York. I had no MFA. I'd never written a book before. And so all of the resources that I used to get published are all put on that page, all the links, all the books, everything. So everything that I used is totally free and out there. And anytime anyone has a question, they're welcome to ask me. But my number one advice is like, the only person who can keep you from writing is you. Like anyone can write a book. You don't need permission. You don't need paperwork certification. You don't need to quit your day job. If you want to write badly enough, you can write, and you can succeed.
That's great. Thank you for that advice. Really sure got your blog. I think that's really, I like the idea of tweeting about it all day. I think that's a really awesome thing for you to do. So now we're going to be talking about the giveaway, because Delilah here is going to be giving away her newest book, Servants of the Storm. It's right there. It's a beautiful cover. And this is for USA and Canada only. Sorry, international peeps, there are other giveaways going on. And this will end the 22nd of this month, September. So in order to win, the first thing you have to do is comment on this video. It's going to be, this live chat is going to become a video on YouTube, so comment on that video. And then the second thing is optional, but because not everybody has a Twitter.
What?
And that is, I know, it's crazy, as to follow Delilah on Twitter. And I'll put her username in the description. And if you do follow her, please put your username in the comments so I can verify your entry. And blah, blah, blah. That's it. Thank you so much, Delilah. I had a great time talking with you, and I'm so glad we could fangirl over Mortal Instruments and stuff like that.
Thank you so much for having me and liking all the books I like.
Oh yeah, paranormal. So excited. And I'd love to read Servants of the Storm, so I'm going to for sure pick it up. Yeah, so thank you. Bye-bye.